Hey guys, last time you saw this was when I was doing actually two videos I used this in. This is my 5 horsepower Montgomery Ward 2200 watt generator. It's a 1980 model. I rebuilt the carburetor in a video on it, and also showed a few tricks when getting a generator that's not generating to start generating again, some of the common problems. I wasn't originally going to make a video on this, but because I got so many rebuild videos and stuff. And I didn't. I tore the original block down, and I was trying to put the valve guides into it, and somehow managed to bust the chamber at the valves right in, and there's no way I can fix it yet until I take it to a machine shop. So I had another 5 horsepower block that needed rebuild as well, so I put the rings that I was sent, which turned out to be cast iron rings. I guess it scored the cylinder or something, because it ran for a half hour, no smoke at all, and then it just started smoking after it cooled down and I started it up again. So it was a gamble, and I didn't want to leave it all apart, and so I had to do something to put it back together until I get all the right parts. Then got looking on eBay. I was going to try to find a good used block or a brand new block, new old stock block, and I found something a little bit better than any of that. And for the price, I decided to go this route. I got a brand new old stock block ready to go. Just got to put the head on it and mount everything on it. It's brand new, but almost 40 years old. This has points and condenser, just like the generator has, so it has to be older than a 1982 block. So, and it's been painted silver, and it's got the crosshatch in the cylinder. It's a fresh rebuilt engine. I mean, it's a fresh built engine. It's never been run before, and it has the generator type crankshaft. So I'm hoping this cover is just a little bit different. I'm hoping everything's going to line up right. If it don't, I'm going to have to swap out this cover and possibly the crankshaft, and I don't want to have to take this engine apart. I want to leave it alone if I can. So now let's get started taking the generator apart. And I'm not going to show it step by step. I'm going to show the main stuff on it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to show it on camera because it's just bolts. I got one bolt here, and there's one bolt that holds the block on. The same thing on the other side. I'm going to take all this framework off, then we'll be left with the engine and generator, and we'll show splitting the generator. Okay, with the frame off of it, you now start taking these long bolts out here that hold the 3 parts of the generator together. I'm taking the 2 bottom ones out first to get this piece of angle off first. I think it'd be easier. These are 7/16 on this. This generator is a model number. It's hard to read each number on there. I'm going to do my best here. It's MX27. It's either 1 or a space, then 22C. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that number. But at least you got something to go by. This is just a 120 volt generator, 2200 watts, and it's rated 3600 RPM. Let me take this other long bolt out, and we'll take this plate off on the other side, and we'll split everything. Alright, so I'm down to the last bolt here. This is going to split everything here. Now you can take the end off here and remove the brushes if you want, but last time I did it, I just kept this and took the whole end off, and everything stayed intact, and put it back together the same way, and it did alright. So that's what we're going to try to do again. And always put the nut back on a bolt like this, that way you won't lose nothing. All 4 bolts are the same. Now you want to be careful with this, because if you hit it too hard and not paying attention, you're going to drop it in the floor and probably break something. But split the middle part, all your wiring is going to stay in it. You see here, all your wiring is contained in here. Your brushes are sitting there. And I recommend drawing witness marks in here. That way you know everything's going to go back together. Okay, so once you get your housing and your field windings removed, you're left with just the armature one here. And this is the hardest part of splitting the generator apart. And the reason is, it'll be easier to show you in a minute, but the end of the shaft is tapered. And it's the same taper on this, so it's just like how you pop a flywheel off an engine. And you got a long bolt that runs all the way through here because the shaft on this is hollow. So you get this long bolt here, and this is actually threaded onto this. When I had this apart last time, I put Loctite on it just to make sure that it wouldn't come out again. Now, you got about 2 options on how to remove the armature without destroying it. On some of them, this is, like I said, this is almost 40 years old, so this is a lot different than the new ones. But the new ones, you can, a lot of them come threaded on the inside, and you put a spacer inside that rests up against the crankshaft, or goes inside there and rests against the bottom of the where it's threaded. Then you put a bolt in here and hold this and tighten it, and it'll pop itself off. But with this one, it's got like a sleeve inside here, and there's no way to thread it. I figure as soon as you start threading, it's going to pop that sleeve out, and you're not going to be able to do it right. I'm sure there's a way to do it like that, but the other method is to use a rubber mallet on the metal part right here. You keep hitting it back and forth, and it'll eventually break loose. And when you're doing this, you want to keep a hold on it, because when it pops off. It's not going to just sit on the shaft. It's going to want to come off because there's a lot of weight here. And this is not my method. I watched some videos on YouTube because I was having a problem. I tried everything I knew how to do to get this off, and I had to resort to this method. So give her a shot. There she is. Now you want to put this in a safe place because these fins are plastic. It's real easy to break something. You don't want to break your commutator. And be sure you hit on that metal part. Don't hit here, and don't hit on this if you can get to it. Hit right on that metal. You're not going to hurt nothing like that. And use a rubber mallet. Don't use a regular hammer or anything. And while you got this off, it's a good time to dress up your commutator. And I just used a scuff pad on there and made it look like brand new copper. You can see it was just starting to wear since I had it back together. Okay, now you got 4 bolts that hold the rest of the housing to the engine. You got 4 1/2-inch drive bolts that hold the housing to the oil sump of the engine. Keep a hold on that last bolt because it'll be ready to come off. And now you're left with the engine. You see how the shaft is tapered? The end of the armature, it's tapered as well. There's no keyway or nothing like that. It's just a tapered fit. That's what holds it on there. Same as a flywheel. Okay, we're looking at the 2 crankshafts. You see how the cover is different. This one's a little bit more heavy duty. That's about the only difference on this. And this was the original sump. You see the block's is changed on this. This is the original sump off the generator block. You see both of these are tapered, and this one's flush here. And I measured the space between here and the end of the shaft, and flush with this to the end of the shaft, and it's the same. So as long as my bolts are the same and the center bolt's the same, we should be good to go with just putting everything over on this block. We're going to hope anyway. So let me get back to you after I check everything out, and we'll go from there. Okay, my bolt threads in the block, and this bolt threads in the shaft, so I don't see no reason why this won't work. So we'll go ahead and start switching everything over. So right now, without having to deal with the generator being in the way, I'm going to go ahead and put all the head and the shield and everything on here. And also, since you see the head so much on this, I found a new old stock head to put on there too. So we're going to put a brand new head on it. That's going to be just like a brand new engine. It is a brand new engine. Brand new, but almost 40 years old. So, like I said, this has to be 82 or older. This was 1980 model. So I'm going to skip a few things on here. You know, I've wore out a lot of the small engine stuff on here because it's just repetitious. But I'm going to show the main stuff on here. I'm not going to show torquing the head bolts. I got a new gasket to put on here, and I'm not going to show every little step of the way, but you know, I'll do a little hit and miss, and maybe just put a couple clips in and not have any talking on it or anything. But so let's get to that. Okay, I did do an off-camera mock-up. I put the armature on there and put the bolt and it didn't tighten everything, just to make sure that everything was going to be spaced right. Everything went right together, so we're good to go on this. Okay, so I got a brand new head gasket to go on it. I did put a little bit of oil on top of the piston to make sure it wasn't going to start dry, because this motor's been sitting for 40 years. But now you're ready to put your plate on there. I wish I had a new one or had time to paint everything first. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I just wanted to hit and miss a little bit on this. And don't forget your 3 long head bolts. Go right here around the exhaust valve. I like to have new bolts put in this. I was hoping one of them new heads would have came with the bolts, but some of them did. But apparently I got the wrong one. I'll eventually maybe paint this block back to orange or something. Paint the whole generator, make it look good. But right now I'm just concerned about getting it running and usable. That way I'll have something for the winter time. I'd rather put money into something old like this than something new that won't hold up. I'm just going to get all of them started here. Like I said, I'm not going to show you all this one. I just wanted to show the new head gasket and that oil in the cylinder. Okay, I considered upgrading to the magnetron coil, doing away with the pointy condenser, but I like to keep things somewhat original, and I always like pointy condensers, so I opted to get a new coil and new points and condenser. And I put a new plunger in there, that plastic plunger, so everything's new here. I just got to remember to put this shield back on here. Then what I'm going to do, when I put the cover back on, I'm going to take a little bit of a former gasket, put a bead around here, seal up this opening where the wires go in, put just a little bit around here just to seal it. That way if I ever do have to use it outside and it's exposed to rain or snow, you know, the points will stay dry and I won't lose spark. But if I ever have problems with the points or anything, I'll upgrade that to a magnetron, because I want this to be reliable since it's a generator. If anybody knows anything what this mark might mean, how to date this, I don't know if it's just a serial number or a date, I'm not sure. So I'm pretty sure it's not a 68 model or 62, but I guess it's possible. Alright guys, I got everything on here. Like I said, I skipped some steps. I tried to show as much as I could, and it's hard to show the governor linkage on this motor the way it's made. We might make another video later on just on that. Got my shut-off wire here. You can see everything's new except for all the outside parts. Brand new block and head. I was going to go ahead and put the generator on there, but I figured I'd get the motor running first. That way if we got some other type of problem, for some reason I need to take it apart or something, I can without having to take the whole generator off. But I put the factory muffler back on it. I bought this low tone muffler to put on it to make it quieter, and it's louder. So I went back to this, and I might try the hot dog type muffler. They're usually louder too, but I just want to experiment. I want to try to keep it as quiet as possible since it's a generator. But yeah, we're ready. I got oil in it. I switched to Havoline 30 weight. Now in the winter time, well, after I get it broke in, I'm going to put 10W30 or 10W40 in it. That way, you know, it won't hurt nothing in the winter time when it's cold. So I've already got gas in the tank. I just got to put the air breather back on. I'm just going to wait till I get it running in case I have to adjust something. It'll be easier to get to. And I got my shut-off wire ready here. And needle nose if I need to pull the plug wire off in case something happens. It should be set to idle, so I hope it don't try to race or nothing. Because you know, everything's dry in the motor. Brand new motor. So we'll see what happens here. Alright guys, so the test run's alright, so we'll go ahead and put the generator on there and take it out for a real test here in a few minutes. I'll get back to you. Alright, so it's just got 4 bolts that go on here. These are fine thread bolts, so don't get them mixed up with any other bolts you got laying around or anything. Also, another little tip, when any generator like this, new or old, get that resistor plug. You see that R in front of the RJ19? That means resistor. All that means is the plug itself contains a resistor, and that cuts down on interference with electrical equipment. So it's real important on a generator. And in a vehicle, if you have regular plugs in it, it can interfere with your radio, or if you have a CB radio, you could hear the engine running over the CB. And sometimes still, if you're running an older vehicle with the distributor cap, you can still hear it sometimes in there. But resistor plugs help out a lot with interference and noise, so especially if you're going to be running like audio equipment off of it. You definitely want to have a resistor plug to keep from hearing the AC hum in it. Okay, so now you're ready to install the armature, and it doesn't matter which way you put it on there. There's no timing on this. It's not like a flywheel that sets the timing or anything. As long as you can get it on there. And if this comes loose with the rod here, put some Loctite on there, tighten it up real good, then put it on there after the Loctite sets up. I'm sure there's a torque spec on this, but I don't know what it is, so I'm just getting it pretty tight. Okay, now I'm going to scoot it back a little bit. Keep the weight balanced a little bit there. Now this can only go one way because the handle's mounted to it. This is where your marks come in. This is where all your weight's at on the generator. Get them alignment pins. There we go. Get that started. We'll get the 2 bolts started in the top, then I'll come back and do the bottom 2 because I got to put that angle on there. I just wanted to show the assembly, so now it's just bolts. We just got to bolt everything back together. You want to get these bolts started as soon as possible, keep anything from moving on you. And you shouldn't have no problem with the brushes, especially if you clean the commutator. You'd be good to go. Last time I did this, it just took off generating, no problem. But for some reason, you may have to work on the brushes or something. Alright, so I'm going to tighten these down and put the framework back on it, then we'll get back to you. Well guys, I think we're doing good now. No smoke or nothing. I had it run about a half hour and keep an eye on the oil level and changing loads to help it proceed in a little bit, and everything seems to be having a few issues with the carburetor and the governor not coming back up all the way, but I just got to mess with that a little bit and get that working. If you wonder about how much it cost, the new old stock small block was $100. The head was around 20. I paid $100 for the whole generator about 3 or 4 years ago. So I got about $250 in it altogether, and not too bad, I guess. I'd rather have something like this than one of the new ones they're making now. So, alright guys, so after the first test run, I had a governor problem and some carburetor issues. So I took the original adjustment mixture screw out and jet. That made a huge difference, and adjusted on the governor some more and got it working good. You see that muffler I got on here now, the box type, the gasket tore and I took it off to take the carburetor off. I didn't have another one, so I had to put this one there for right now, so I will change that out at some point. This muffler is a lot louder for a generator, and eventually I'm going to make a little kill switch here to hook on here somewhere. Just have a toggle switch somewhere, either here or over here. Be a little bit better than shorting that wire out. And also added the wheel kit to it. Had to come up with a way of mounting it on there, since it don't have a channel. Can't see what I did. Put angle iron in there, bolted it to it. That's the Harbor Freight wheel kit. And get the handle up here on the front. Put a piece of angle iron on there. So that makes it a lot easier to move around now. That generator's pretty heavy. May not look like it is, but it really is. So let me take it out and we'll get it going again, and I'll take the air breather off so you can see the governor kicking in and everything. So it's working right now. Well guys, I'm happy with it. It seems to be working pretty good. And one little tip I will mention, don't ever start a generator or shut it off with a load hooked to it. You just take a chance of doing damage to it, and you may not get it to start generating again right off the bat and have to work on it to get it. It's not always true, but it's just something I like to do. And but yeah, it seems to be doing good. Like I said, I'm going to change that muffler out and add a kill switch later on. It won't be in this video, but it is something I wanted to do to it. But yeah, so if you got any questions or comments on this type of generator, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching. Catch you later.